Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Joey Basayo. I am also joined with how do you say in my country, Cal Ness, who is my host. And then we have two very special guests. We have Mike Stelzner and Matt Rustad of CNS Custom Calls. Thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, thanks for having us up. Yeah,
Heck yeah.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys coming up here. I know it was a little bit of a slick drive up today. You know,
A little bit of hydroplane.
hydroplane.
It wasn't too bad, but you know, the city's...
That's the bad part.
Yeah.
Well, you don't like it up here?
A lot of red on the maps tonight on the drive up. So it was rough.
Right. No, guys, this podcast is brought to you by Outlaw. I don't know if you guys have tried it yet. Matt's currently drinking one.
That's good stuff.
You're not drinking.
Just water.
I'm sorry about that. I love this beer so much. It's new to Minnesota, and it's like the cheapest beer that you can buy, but also tastes better than Coors and Busch. That's like the main thing we're looking for. Better taste.
Like it.
Better taste, and you can still drink like 10 pretty easy. But that's if you are...
That's Joey's bar. Like cheap, good taste, and you can drink 10.
That's what I'm talking
Honestly,
about.
when I saw the can, I thought it was an energy drink. So it kind of has that cool vibe going.
It does kind of energize you a
It
little.
gives me a little bit of energy
Yeah.
in my pants.
Drink a few. You drink enough of them, you got a lot more energy than you thought.
Right, right. About 2 of those and I'd be asleep. That's
You think so?
That's what beer does to me. Yeah, it just puts me right.
Well, we got whiskey and whatever over there, too, if you want some.
Yeah, you got to check out the little bar.
Sleepy.
Check out the little bar area.
Anyway, but guys, if you're listening, go check out Outlaw. Tell them that we sent you. I think you're really going to like it.
Yeah, for sure. Before we got going, you guys were telling us a great story about your new TikTok escapades.
Yeah.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about this new TikTok trend you're starting out?
What do you mean? Which
Well,
one?
Well, the turkey videos, you know,
The
all the
turkey
live
lives.
TikTok
Oh, sure.
videos. you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
are
yeah.
doing.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess it's interesting because before we started, Joey was talking about how if you're over 50, you use Facebook
Yeah.
Messenger. So
Yeah.
so me, I'm 47. So, you know, I've been at this for a while, but
You're knocking at the door.
I lean on Matt, which is great most of the time, but for new ideas. And so we've been trying to get the TikTok stuff up and going because I think it's just, for us and for the company, it's like a platform we don't utilize.
Right.
And so anything that we can utilize that's free. And I mean,
For sure.
I'm about as ADD as it comes, and Matt's right behind me, I think. And so like I skip around a lot.
Yeah.
But so we had a TikTok page set up last year, I think, and we played with it for a while, didn't we?
It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
but yeah.
basically. And anyways, time goes fast.
Jump around a little
bit,
You
yeah.
know?
It does.
So we were messing with it, and then we finally decided. Well, actually, I finally decided that Matt was going to do it.
Mhm.
And he handled it well. I mean, I think there was about a week there where he was going to like bridge embankment it.
Oh, really?
The
I hate
previous
TikTok.
page got like whatever banned or something.
Taken down.
Yeah, it was locked. And so then there's an appeal period. Well, we missed the appeal period.
For sure. 4 years in.
Yeah. So
4 years ago.
So then he built it, and then he actually got the whole store like put in, but we couldn't get any products to show up. And then somebody tried to buy one, and they were out of stock. And
Yeah.
like I still can't get any money out of there right now. We're still waiting for like the money approval period.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I think you guys would do really well. You should try to figure out TikTok Shop because there's a whole lot of not good
It's
duck
crazy.
collars. And
It's
goose
been going
collars on there.
nuts.
Yeah.
And people buy
Yeah.
shit off of TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to buy anything off of TikTok.
I bought a couple things.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
You seem like a big Temu guy.
Oh man.
Are you on Temu, Matt?
No, I haven't actually.
Walleye baits off a team.
It's like too confusing when the wheel spins every time. You don't even know like what's going on.
you gotta fucking...
I
Yeah,
just rage quit it every time.
you gotta play like Wheel of Fortune just to buy a fucking $4 shirt. You know, you're like, what are we doing here?
Sorry, Mike.
Oh my gosh. No, it's good. It's good.
We've been
Yeah.
going live though. It's been really
Yeah.
fun. Out turkey out in the spring.
It has been crazy. And I think like turkey call sales are something secondary for us, but like we love turkey hunting. Like
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite things to do. And mainly I think because it's off season. So it's not too stressful at that time.
Yeah.
But we got the TikTok shop up going, and then we started moving calls. Like we'd be like, yeah, you know, we're using this call, and people would interact. And I think one day we basically just would set up the blind, and I was trying to shoot a bird with my longbow for a little bit, and we'd just set up the phone and have it aiming out and have it live. And it's just crazy to me that people, I mean, at one day we had almost 500 people watching. We had a hen decoy or a hen come into the decoys, and the comments are going.
Everyone just chirps you about any single thing you do.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you not?
You dumb piece of shit. You don't know what you're doing?
Oh, the calling got
less.
me. Yeah,
call more. Call less. You're calling too much. You're not calling enough.
I'm sure I call too much. But I killed a ton of turkeys, but like I'm a call maker. Like I like using a call. So it's like I literally have to watch a like clock.
Sure.
Do not call for 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's been
okay.
Yelp, you know. Yeah. And if they're gobbling back, I mean,
That's what I was going to ask. You're using a slate or a pot call, or are you using a mouth call?
Honestly, I usually always use a mouth call, but I have been using the slates. Slates are so nice and easy to use.
Do you sell slates or do you sell mouth calls or both?
Both.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We do. I have like, what do we have? Slate, mouth calls.
I know nothing about turkey hunting, by the way,
hooters.
so I'm sorry.
We do owl hooters. I think that's pretty much it. So
Nice. You guys do the owl hooters?
Yeah, dude.
Hooters are fun.
Yeah. What, to get the shot gobble, right?
Yeah.
See where they're located at night?
Find them. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
there you go.
The owl hooters are fun to use. That's a fun call. So, but
Do you think that they're easier here or over in South Dakota, Matt?
Eastern South Dakota, they're easier for sure, but
Right.
Western South Dakota, I don't know. It just depends. They're easy here too.
Are they?
Just all in their mood.
Well, yeah, you're killing them in your backyard.
Well, yeah, but even anywhere, it's all in their mood.
I feel like they're
you
dumb
can't mess
birds.
it up. Like you can't mess it up if
Are
they're in
they
that
dumb
mood.
birds?
Yes, but they're the smartest dumb birds, like Bruce.
yeah, Bruce.
Tell us about I want to know about Bruce.
Well, there's literally no, I think like I've been turkey hunting for 30 years, and like literally it's a mood thing. Every waterfowler does it too. You're like, oh, I got to adjust the spread.
Yeah.
Should we use a hen decoy? Should we use a strutter decoy? Like they won't finish, they won't come in. And then like the other day, the sun comes out and they just run right in. So
Sounds like duck and goose hunting, honestly.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
We've
like-
got a property that's just outside of Rochester, and it's archery area only there. And we've been, it's usually a really good property, lots of birds on there. And we have this bird down there we nicknamed Bruce. And my buddy Ike actually came up with the name, but he's probably like a 2-year-old bird. He's just got, typical like 5/8 spurs, but he is just the most stubborn bird. And so we went down there, we went TikTok live one day, and
Big TikTok guys.
He got there.
big
He
TikTok
strutted
guys.
like
oh yeah
3 feet behind the
yeah
blind.
he came, they come up behind the blind on the neighbor's property.
Yeah.
And Matt's like, did you hear a spitting drum? They'll when they're like right behind you, and he comes and Matt's like shaking me, and
It was so close I couldn't even see the whole bird out
he,
the window.
he came like literally like 2 feet from the blind. Well, Matt's right here, and I got my longbow like this, so I can't shoot him there. And then he literally he sees the Jake decoy, and he just turns and he goes out to like 40.
Yeah.
And for the next 4
4
hours, he just back.
It was dialed for TikTok
and he
Live,
just went
though.
back and forth.
So it's 4 hours he's sitting out there, and everybody the entire time is just telling us what to do
Yeah.
and what we're doing wrong. When there's nothing you could do, it's just sitting
Right.
out there.
Right.
It was brutal. It was
Start talking shit about you guys personally.
Oh,
That was
100%.
it was
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
fucking idiots.
So that was the first encounter we had with him.
Yep.
And so then
We went back with Hodge.
we went back with Hodge, and that day, did he come from behind us?
No, he
he
came
came
from
right to the back of the blind that day, but he wouldn't come through.
Oh, yeah,
And-
then he went down.
And then when he did come through, he was down in the corner of the property, like 100 yards.
He's
away.
smart.
did the same thing
Or
again.
like- and I think he is like totally a bird that I think got his butt whipped by some other birds, and he would not come to the Jake decoy.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Ike, who I share the property with, he went out like a couple days later, set up, and he's like, "It's Bruce. He's coming in." And he came right in, and he said he had him at 11 yards, and he was archery hunting, and he drew back his bow, and then the arrow like fell off when he shot,
Oh, no.
and Bruce ran off.
And Bruce got away.
Bruce got away.
Yeah, Bruce.
So,
Bruce is one of those birds. He's just got like special protection.
yeah.
He got away one more time, too.
At this point, Mike, do you just like let Bruce live there?
I'm not really sure what we're going to do, because so my 12-year-old son, Eli, he doesn't like guns, but he likes his crossbow. So we went down. This was like, a week and a half ago. I said, "You want to go?" It was Sunday. It was like that 90-degree day.
Let's go kill Bruce.
Why not go sit in the blind? So I took the Avery Swamp seat, which Matt loves to comment on the fact that I use that. And I took a bucket, and we went down there and set the blind up. And like it was hot. The Kit Kats were melting, but Bruce came out. Okay. So he came from across the field and I'm like, oh, Eli, it's Bruce. And he's like, we're going to get him, Dad. And I was like,
how old is he? You said 11?
He's 12.
12.
So Bruce came gobbling and strutting the whole way, put on a show.
Yeah.
And I thought he was. I got to the point where I was like,
we might kill Bruce
we
today.
might kill him. And then he came and then he veered off. And then he just strutted back and forth. And so Eli was on my right. So Eli and I did like the blind dance where I moved the crossbow and the rest and everything. And he was to the right and I got him to come out to like, he was probably 25 yards or so. So
is that not good enough for the crossbow?
It's pretty good, but like I wanted him close for E because, but you know, and honestly, he probably just missed because he used the 20-yard hash.
Oh,
and
sure.
I thought he was at 20. And in Eli's defense, Eli told me, Dad, I think I should use the second one down. And I should just have trusted my 12-year-old.
Isn't that what he said? Let me cook.
Yeah. That's what,
Yeah.
it's because I was like, bro, take your
you
time.
missed
And
this.
he goes, Dad, let me cook. So I was like, send it, bro.
That's the best.
He's just aura farming.
No shit though. If anyone ever says to me, "Let me cook in the blind,"
I'm gonna let you do whatever.
I'm gonna let you do whatever you want from here, bro. Like
freelance.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm
the
not
other-
a part of some of the shit you might do, but you go ahead.
It's like the other guys where he's just like, I'm a peacock captain. You gotta let me fly. That's what I attribute. Same shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Okay, Mike, you have done some incredible shit from what I did on some studying on you. Now I've known you for like 10 years.
Right.
Right. But you and I have never actually got to sit down and be like, hey,
right.
Who are you? You know, I have 14 kids. Oh, I only have 2, you know, whatever. And I know that you've won call maker stuff at like NWTF for like really nice looking duck calls and goose calls and turkey calls, but I don't know exactly what you've won. Can you explain that to me? I know you put a lot of time into some of those duck calls because they look insane.
Sure.
Tell us about those trophies you said you got. In that,
no, it's kind of cool. I had a guy. So when there's basically like, I would say there's kind of 2 sides to the industry in a sense. There's like your mainstream retail side and then there's like a custom side. And the custom side is pretty much like basement dudes just building stuff, you know, for fun. And that's really when I started doing it. It was just, I was doing fishing rods and arrows for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't do fishing rods or arrows, just so everybody knows, because the people would just, ice rods were crazy. And,
oh, sure.
But, and you know, a lot of people are like, oh man, I started making calls because I wanted to build a better duck call. Well, that I just did it because it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's tons of good calls out there and there was 20 years ago, but I just started goofing around. And then, I met a guy in 2008 who ran the end. It's kind of confusing, but the NWTF has a contest and they have a duck side and a goose side and a turkey side. And so basically, they put this together and the NWTF kind of like hosts it and they benefit from it because the sales of the calls, they get 50% of the sales of the calls.
50%.
And that's it. Like there's been guys who
seems high
complained about that, but you know what? It's the cost to the contest and they do a really good job. The guys that put the contest on. And so the gentleman's name was Mark Warmath and he's been running that contest for years. And he was like, oh, you got to enter, you build a good call. You got to enter. And I had like 100-degree fever for like a week at that. I was super sick.
Perfect timing.
And, but I shipped out some calls. I got sick after I shipped the calls, just to be clear. So anyways, but yeah, so that year I entered and I won. That was my first call maker of the year. They call it down there. And basically they have like, at that time, I think they had 10 divisions. They have like wooden duck call, which is a duck call made of wood.
Right.
Then they have acrylic duck. And then they have a division that's called CNC duck, and it's just for calls that are CNC'd.
Yeah.
And what they do is they judge them on fit and finish and sound, like feed. So the hunting division.
so it's not just
the hunting division is all hunting. And there's also a decorative division too.
Gotcha.
And so in the hunting division, you have like the one year I won, Jim Ronquist was a judge, which was super cool because I remember, and I don't know that he'd remember, but I remember him saying, I don't think you could do anything better to that call.
Well, that's
and
huge.
like for me, that was like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
And that's for the sound?
Yeah.
Oh,
and so they just judge those. So they judge them on sound in the hunting division. And then there's only like 5 points for looks. So they judge them all. And so like in each division, they place first, second, third, and then they pull the first place calls out of each division, and then they rejudge them all. And then whoever gets first, that's considered call maker of the year. And so,
and you've won that how many times?
A lot, I think. Over 10. I have 10 hunting call maker of the year.
That's insane, dude. Congrats.
And then I won a couple years of. I have 1 year where I won decorative call maker, and the decorative is basically the flipped. It's like all checkering, carving, scrimshaw, and so it's 90% weighted towards like when I go down there and judge, if I pick up a decorative call and I blow and it's as long as it makes a noise, they get 5 points for sound.
Sure.
So it's not based on sound at all. So
that's what I was going to ask, because if you put all this time into the exterior facade,
right,
and then you have to figure out how it sounds,
right.
I feel like you're taking so much wood out of it that it would be tough to make the sound good like a normal duck call would.
Yeah, and the decorative stuff is, I remember the first year I started doing it, a guy said, hey, you got to go bigger. Like the decorative calls are 6-8 inches tall.
Oh.
Yeah. And the work is incredible. Like even when I was entering in 2010, it was amazing. And now it's unreal what guys are doing.
Wow.
And the contest is huge. I mean, couple hundred call makers every year. It's a big deal.
Just for decorative.
That for both sides. And then the whole other side too, there's like turkey, pot, slate, any trumpet, I mean, grunt tubes, there's owl hooters, there's all kinds of divisions, and they have it's a huge deal. And it's a pretty cool deal that they got going down there. And so then I just started entering that, and then there's been like a handful of guys who've been really prominent down there. Of course, like Ron Lawn, RM Custom Calls.
Oh, yeah.
He's real prominent, and his contest calls real prominent on the contest circuit now. A lot of guys are using it.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one is that one called again?
Trinity.
Yeah.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Is that for meat or is that
Main
for
Street?
Main
Like
Street?
at Worlds, over half the people blow it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Ron came in about a couple of years after I started building calls. I've been building them for 20 years now, which is crazy to me, but
that's a long time.
Yeah. So, and then there's been like my buddy John Kep, and there's been a couple other guys who kind of like, we've all kind of like battled it out for the top down there. And then there's a couple other guys like Michael Meredith and there's a handful of guys, and then there'll be a guy who will just come in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And,
a newcomer.
Yeah. And place really high, and it kind of drives us all to, and I mean, I've been entering since 2008. And every year, like these guys know, like when it's NWTF time, I get pretty competitive about it.
Yeah.
I'm the first dude to like congrat my buddies, because I think I try not to get on a tangent, but like, and I'm sure everybody here can agree, like that it's more about the dudes and the camaraderie than it is about whatever we do.
100%.
Like hunting or call making. Like I have so many good friends that are call makers just because they're call makers,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal down there. They got that. So
2 years ago was my first time going down, or maybe it was 3 now.
3 maybe now. Yeah.
I'm getting old, but and I was floored by the amount of fucking people that are at that show.
Yeah.
Oh my, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was truly overwhelming. And it was like 80,000 people in a day.
Yeah, that NWTF show, like I think 2012, I got a booth with a guy, and it was the only year I've gotten a booth, and we sold a bunch of calls. And then now people always ask, why don't you get a booth there? But I like to just go hang out. I take the boys and we go down there and go to the water park, and we go out to dinner, and we always go to Old Hickory Steakhouse, and I spend like $300 on dinner. I mean, the steaks are, but it's fun. It's a cool show. Like,
we're kind of thinking of taking our wives next year, just because we haven't been able to go. Yeah. My son was born 6 days after it was supposed to happen. So I was like right in that period, like I shouldn't go. I'm glad I didn't. But we're kind of thinking of like, maybe we can do like a family deal, bring our kids down there. Cause there's that water park. I mean, the hotel is like, what is it called? Is it Overland
Opryland?
Yeah.
Opryland.
It's Gatelord at Opryland. Yeah.
Oh.
It is a lot. It's like,
it's a compound.
but I always stay at the Opryland because you can walk around. I mean,
the mall is so, it's so sick. Like just, there's so much to do in the Opryland.
Right. Right. And you can go, like, you can take the ladies over to Grand Ole Opry. Tickets are like cheap.
Yeah. They're not that bad.
Yeah. You can go downtown and
go to the Ryman downtown or whatever's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. We have a ton of fun. I mean, it's an expensive trip. Like kind of how
Yeah.
I write it out is like, I enter all the calls and I hope every year that like, you know, the prize money's pretty good actually. And then like they used to give you a ring. Like I have like a dozen. They look like a Super Bowl ring. They used to give them to you and now you can buy them. And then they have like, they have Champion of Champions divisions, which is only guys who have won can enter. And then a couple of years ago, they added a Hall of Fame, which is really cool. Now I got inducted into the NWTF Hall of Fame. And I remember
that's sick, dude.
It was funny because when they did the inductees, they were like, this is the most, I'm not tooting my horn here. I mean, it's super cool.
No, I asked you about it.
Yeah. Right. But they had that. I remember this. They said that's the most decorated guy in the history. And I remember a gal in front of us goes, who the heck is this guy? Like, because I'm a duck and goose call guy.
Right.
You know, and so it's a little weird because it's a turkey thing, you know, but it's a super cool deal. And, you know, it's a fun place to go. Like I definitely think your wives would love it down there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. My wife and I have done Nashville and just had a blast. So
it costs a lot, but
it's
fun,
not cheap,
you know?
but it's fun.
Aldean's is wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the downtown bars.
Yeah, wild. I wish I could have seen Morgan throw a chair.
That'd be sick. I've been there 5 times. It's dead whenever I'm there.
Really?
I go there after Worlds every year, and it's just like nobody.
What time of year is that?
November.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right. No, it's just weird. We've been there 5 times. It's like dead.
Yeah.
On Broadway, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only time I've been, my wife and I were downtown. We went to the Ryman, and like after we were done with that show, I mean, you can't even walk in those streets.
It's crazy.
No, yeah, there's
insane.
cops everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, he didn't do the button. He sucks at his job.
I didn't hear crazy. That's my bad.
Whatever, dude. Guys, this podcast is also brought to you by Flashback. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Flashback.
Have you guys
decoy.
used the Flashback?
I haven't seen them in person.
Dude, they're unbelievable. They're essentially the head goes down, the butt goes up, and the head moves through the body.
Oh.
Doesn't flare geese or anything like that, but it
I think
actually
I've seen 'em, yeah.
provides some really good motion on the water.
Huh, that's kind of cool.
It's
They're
like
sick.
my go-to motion decoy now,
Hmm.
and they're so slick. They last like 3 or 4 hunts without charging them, which is
Right.
That's prime.
huge
Yep.
for me.
Right.
And I seriously can't water hunt without them. They're sweet.
Yeah, they're kind of built like a brick shit house too.
Big time.
Which is
That's key.
That's the best part about them, actually.
And if anything breaks, it's like so simple.
Yeah, the owner Tyler is like very, I don't want to say OCD, but like every single part on him, he's like, that's like, he's so proud. Every part can come off and be replaced.
That's kind of cool.
So like if you ever break a part on it, you know, then, and if you call the shop and you're like, I don't know what's broken, he'll diagnose it with you. He'll send you the new part and like show you how to fix it or whatever.
That's
it's just, they're sick.
They're all hand painted. It kind of reminds me of like the old G&H.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if they were like kind of a handcrafted.
Mhm.
It sounds kind of like a dude that came up from
He's from Minnesota.
building it in the
Oh, really?
basement.
Where
Yeah,
Yeah,
they-
it's kind of cool.
I think he's
That's
from
dope.
up north.
Yeah, Brainerd.
Brainerd area, I think.
Yeah.
He lives in Colorado now.
Huh.
So they're
He's smarter
they're
than
made
us.
in Colorado. But yeah,
He's
he's from
pretty cool.
Minnesota. So it's
You
kind
know,
of cool.
He gets
Huh.
better duck hunting than us, and he gets
Yeah.
a beautiful
Oh,
view
yeah,
every day.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Doesn't have to
Right.
deal with the crap that we have to deal with here.
Right.
You know?
Seems unlikely, actually. I think he's right outside of Denver.
Oh, true.
Pretty sure he's dealing with his own crap out there.
I don't know. I'm just so sick of Minnesota, though.
Yeah, well,
I'm so sick of
Heard
our
that.
shit.
yeah.
Old Timmy Waltz.
I'm just waiting too, because like in 20 years we'll still be living here. You know, Joey would be like,
for yourself.
"We'll see,
I got goals, bro.
we'll see."
Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. Probably one of
Yeah.
those 3.
If you were gonna relocate, would you guys stay here?
I'd go to South Dakota.
Well, oh really, Matt?
100%.
We've talked about it. You know, my family lives in Riverton, Wyoming. My
sick.
mom and dad. Yeah. And so I always remember going out there. I don't know. This has probably been 10 years ago or so at least. And we they live right by the Boysen Reservoir there. And my mom knows a gal from church and she's like, oh, you can go over there and they normally charge $20 a day, but she'll let you go out for free. And we headed over there and I pulled in and dad's like, look at all those blackbirds. And I'm like, those are mallards. There's like 5,000 mallards just. And so we went out there and everybody wore brown and I tried to cover everybody up in corn stubble and we shot our limit. It was
That's so good.
crazy. But the West is terrible. You don't want to hunt out there.
Yeah, it
No,
sucks
you
out
know,
there, and you
yeah,
can't
it's
get permission,
it's
and
terrible,
everybody's
yeah.
it's locked up pretty much. And
It's
I don't know. I
actually-
think
tariffs made the price
right
go
yeah,
way
it's bad,
higher.
yeah.
it's like $1,000 a day now.
Yeah. It is gorgeous out there though. You're right. Like Montana, Idaho. I took Brian out there and we hunted up by Cody one year for mallards on the river, and it's pretty. I think Minnesota's tough. You know, we live here, so you're kind of like on it. You know, we get tired of it, but it's got its, you know, it's got its perks. It's got its vibe. You know, like I'm a huge whitetail hunter, and so like to be able to just go out and hop in a stand at night or go set up, you know, a decoy spread and shoot some geese and not have to drive, you know, like if you're in Wyoming or Colorado, you're like, well, we're going elk hunting this week, because you can't just like most places, you can't just pop out for a night shoot, you know?
Right. Yeah. But I feel like everyone's jobs out there revolve around big game. Yeah. Like it's not uncommon for people to take a week or 2 weeks off from work to go get their tag.
But that's also the only vacation they take that whole year.
Right.
You know, like everybody can have 1 week of vacation.
But too, like the other thing too is like, there's nothing like Riverton. There's nothing there. Like it's just dirt but you're close to a lot, you know, like, I mean, just Yellowstone, the park, like all that. It is pretty out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We've talked about South Dakota. Like, I like South Dakota. It's a cool state.
Oh, it's amazing. There's just no work there.
Right.
That's the problem. Unless you're in like Sioux
unless
Falls.
you own a custom call company, I guess you can
Truth. We kind of bop around.
Just up and move it, you know?
Right. Yeah. You guys can do whatever you want.
Right.
Right.
Matt, you pushing for that?
I'm talking like Matt's an owner, but
I'd love it.
Yeah.
There's the one nice thing about states like that is the content is easy to get, you know.
Oh, the hunting is so much better.
Yeah, you're like, hey, let's go. You guys want to go set up on the river and try to shoot some mallards today and get some CNS content? No, let's just hang out and make calls.
Yeah.
But if you want some footage of like dudes at the landing and sky busting, you can get it pretty good. But
over in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Big time.
Over here. Yeah.
Big time, dude.
I can't remember.
Go TikTok live for that.
That's on my bucket list.
Oh yeah.
Carlos Avery on opener. I want to do it. I want to do it myself. I want to go. Or North Lake opener.
Oh
maybe.
yeah, be a riot.
We
set up about 20 yards down from a guy.
Show up 20 minutes before shooting
just
time.
be that guy instead of having that guy do it to you. Be that guy.
Just fuck it.
Right.
That'd be pretty sick, honestly, to be that guy.
For once, you know?
Yeah.
Just sleep in, whatever. Show up and just set your whole spread up like 50 yards down from a guy.
Kayak in.
Yeah.
My sister and I used to hunt a lot growing up together. She's 10 years older than me, so she's 42 in August. And she's like, Joe, I would love to hunt with you one of these days. I'm like, let's go. And she was pregnant with my niece. And I was like, well, you should probably check to see if you can like hunt this pregnant. And she's like, yeah, I asked my doctor, we're fine. I was like, that was too casual. Anyway, we go to like this public lake over here. Some dude sets up like 100 yards from me. And I'm like, come on, man. And my sister's like, tell him, yeah, get him out of here. Fuck him. You know, yeah. She's all fired up. She really wants to shoot ducks. And I'm like, let's, you know, like, dude, can you just go further down? He's like, I can hunt here. I'm like,
right.
You might as well just hunt with us. And he's like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Cool.
Right. Oh, okay, no compromise. Okay.
And then another.
No doubt.
That's one of the new. That's one of the
I've
new
never heard
sounds.
that one.
Never heard that one. So anyway, another dude comes, tries to set up on the other side of him. Now that guy's pissed.
Right. He's
And
upset now.
Right. He's very upset, and they're yelling at each other like big time. And the guy's like, "Fuck you, fuck this," and he's like goes through his decoys in reverse, cuts all of his decoy lines.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, "How do you like that, you fucking douchebag? Oh, you're gonna yell at me? I can hunt where the fuck I want." I'm like, oh, so
Awesome.
not good. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Just wear a
Just show
might
up.
want to wear a jacket.
Show up, set up 20 yards down from a guy,
silver
and then
canoe.
anyone else that
Right.
comes near you,
Right.
just cut everybody's lines with your trolling motor.
We talked about, Matt had a really good idea.
Silver
and
canoe.
We should do it.
Silver
About
canoe.
Setting up at a lake like that on opener, we were going to set up like the call booth and like
Just give away
like
calls.
give away calls like
love
Delrin
people
But you have to like skip duck opener and
Right,
do it.
right.
So.
I think we could do it. Like I'm working on some molded calls. Hopefully they'll be out this year, but just like a molded duck and goose call. So we'd have something that we could give away or it would be a cheaper price
Right.
point, but we could set up and be like, hey, it'd be kind of fun to film it. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
You got to make sure that you have like some sort of, they have to do something to get the call. Like make them blow their duck call. That's what you should do.
Pretty good. That'd be
You should make everybody, I'll give you a free duck call right now,
Right.
brand new,
Should we do
but
like,
you just have to blow your duck call for
right.
us.
should we do like a Charlie Kirk, like blow your call against me.
Yeah.
If you beat me, you win a free call.
Oh my gosh.
Just whoop everyone.
I feel like too, you have them stop back after their hunt. You got to check back in and let us know what you got. Got.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
If someone shoots something other than a wood duck, they get like a full lanyard.
You're like, is this a grebe or a canvasback? We're not really sure what this is, but
How many? Guy who shoots the biggest grebe wins a call.
right.
Guy who shoots the most coots.
That's
Right.
crazy.
You get this free ticket from Mr. Green Jeans. He's hiding out back here.
Working in conjunction with the Minnesota DNR.
Yeah,
Hey
we
guys,
have
on this episode of CNS.
Oh, we forgot to tell you this hunt was sponsored by Tim Walls. So, yeah.
We've got Tim Walls in the back of the truck right now. Wait till we ask these people how many of them socially distanced.
Big fisherman. Big fisherman. He's probably a big duck hunter too.
Ask everyone where their mask is.
Big
If you have a mask, get a free call. That could be good.
Oh man, everybody started somewhere. Not to rip on people too much, you know, but I remember the days of hunting water when I first started. My buddy Ike got me into it when I was like 18, and I'd be out there in the silver canoe covering up the sides. And I had my first duck call I ever called a duck in was a grunt tube. So yep, I'll admit it. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Like a deer ground tube.
Yep. Then I upgraded to some duck commanders. So
Nice.
But you know, back in my day when I first started, it was when Game Fair was like it was Lanyard Central.
Oh yeah, everyone wore their lanyard.
God, I can't remember the name of the company they had where Dakota is. They call it the slobber station, but it was like literally like a row of boxes, just a row of calls, and they were clam pack calls. And they, you know, the old janitor keychain things.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
They had
yeah.
those hooked to all the calls, and so you just and then just let her go back.
Oh my god.
And people just went up and down. Knutson's was the name of the store. Yep. Back in the day.
They just sold everybody's calls,
Yeah.
or they had their own calls.
They were just a sporting goods retailer.
Sure.
And so they had a lot of it was mostly like duck commanders.
Yeah.
And, you know, stuff like that.
I'd like to see some of the guys that walked up
Old
and just
Buck
ripped
Gardners.
into that call with their lips, you know?
Oh man. We get some good stuff at shows, you know, like we've modified call stands over the years. Like I used to have some that were like flat and the call would sit on there. But the first year when somebody like picks it up and you get a snagger that hangs from the rack to the call, you're like, yeah, we got to redesign that. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely been times where I've been in a booth where they're selling calls and somebody comes up and blows the call and then they leave, obviously, and don't buy a call. And then you take the little, antiseptic wipe and you wipe it out. And I'm like, that's not enough.
That's not going to do
That's
it.
not enough for that guy.
You might as well have just taken it.
You
with
got to just throw that call away, dude.
They got 13 teeth. And they're all
call's-
different colors.
That call's no good anymore, bro.
You got chew spit in there.
It's funny how that works, you know. Like I remember my oldest now, he's 18, he graduates this year, but I always remember telling Brian, like, do not blow any of these calls ever. Like get a lanyard, have it in the back.
Yeah.
You know, and we have I'll just go back and have like a bunch of barrels if somebody's like, hey, I got a profit, I need retuned, and you just swap out the barrel because
Oh,
I always just go for it.
yeah, these aren't
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
herpes.
What do you mean? What do you mean what's going to happen?
Gingivitis.
Oh, one of these days you're going to gingivitis. Yeah. Is that transferable? Through
I don't
spit?
know. It looks like it is.
Sure.
Man, it's rough. Like when we go down to Nashville, you know, and at that call contest, like I judge the amateur divisions down there, and there'll be 300 calls, and I always try to like be the first judge running them through. But usually there's only like 6 judges. But by the end of that show, like on the third day, you pick up a duck call and smell it, and it smells like swamp and chew spit. And yeah, you just never know.
That's tough.
It smells like swamp.
Just
I
swamp.
don't even know. It's rough.
Swamp and
It's
chew
rough.
spit.
Yankees can't be talking about Southerners like that, man.
That's true. That's true.
messed up.
You're going to be blackballed at the show. Oh
Holy
my gosh.
shit.
All right, Mike, tell us. So you said you started out making fishing poles and arrows. What made you go to duck calls, dude?
Man, that's a good question. I did the fishing rod thing, the arrow thing. I did a lot of cedar arrows. You know, I've always shot trad archery. I shoot compounds too, but I kind of slid into that. And I think, you know, this is back in the day when this is a long time dating myself, but when internet forums were the thing.
A lot of back in
Refuge
the days.
forum?
Yep.
A lot of back in
Refuge.
the
So
days.
there was a forum called Miss Mallard, and it was an online call making forum. There was like 120 members, and I met a handful of guys on there, and there was a couple books out, and I was like, hey, I could do this. So I went and bought like a woodcraft lathe from Menards for like $100, and I started selling calls mainly because I needed to pay for material, you know. And and then I remember back in the day I'd buy like one blank of wood, and now I buy like 100, you know.
Right.
It's I always feel like it's the same in life. Like we live in a cardboard box this big, and then we make the box bigger, but we
fill it with shit.
Yeah, we fill the box up.
Yeah.
He definitely fills the box up.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I just got a huge batch of wood in. Like that's what he's talking about.
What did you get?
I have a really bad addiction to Hawaiian curly koa. It's one of my favorite woods. It's gorgeous wood.
Sounds like hardwood.
Yeah, it's so obviously it's from Hawaii, but it's
Yeah.
But you can only harvest. They can only harvest. They can't cut the tree down. They can only harvest stuff that's on the ground, basically. So I bought a couple.
So it's really expensive.
Yeah, I bought a couple boards that it was considered old growth. So it was like 1984. This guy had these boards, and they were
cool.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know, 8-10 inches wide by 3 feet tall, and they were $1,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. But the curl, like they're exhibition grade, and so I think I got like, I'll never turn it all, but I got probably like 300 calls worth of material there.
That's what I was going to ask. How
And
many
so,
calls
like,
can you
if
make
I
out of
if
that?
I sell one of those calls, like on average, like a couple $100, probably at least, maybe 3. I mean,
yeah.
it's an investment for me, and I love the material too. And so
Does it sound really good? Does it have a different?
I sleeve it almost, so I'll put an acrylic sleeve in it. Almost always, I'll stabilize
Really?
the wood, yeah, and like a goose call, you can build a full goose call out of it. You don't have to sleeve it.
Why? Because it's thicker.
It's just the tone board. Tone board can be finicky, like on a duck call with wood. So depending, it just doesn't sound quite as good. And I mean, you could do it, but I just don't. I like to sleeve it with acrylic, and then.
Is that because of expansion and contraction too?
Not too much with that stuff. Like all the wood that I get now, I have stabilized. So you send it out. There's a couple different companies that do it. They basically, I would equate it to like if you had a sponge and you soaked it in water, but the water is a heat cure, and then they cure it in a stove and it hardens it.
Really?
On a molecular level. So what they do is they take the wood and they pressurize it, or they put it in a vacuum chamber, and they pressurize this on a cellular level, and then they cure it. And so it comes back like,
It's like putting a board through a kiln.
yeah, it comes back it's just hard as a rock, and it's super durable. So it won't expand or contract, but it's, I mean, I think I sent out 110 pounds of wood, and then
Holy shit.
and it was $1,800 to stabilize. And so, but it's, I had some curly mango in there. I had some,
Curly. It's all curly something.
yeah, some desert ironwood burl, which is actually from Arizona, but that stuff's really pretty too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to go down to Arizona a lot because my dad bought a house down there because my sister went to college. And I probably went down there once a year for like 8 years or something. And the trees there, all hardwood, desert,
Yeah.
super cool. And I remember that tree.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
Ironwood.
Ironwood.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty spendy too. Of course, I have an affinity for like the super spendy.
Well, because you
stuff,
can't cut those
Right,
down because
right,
there's like no
right,
trees down there.
right,
So the same thing. If it's on the
right,
ground,
right,
fair game.
Right. Yeah, it's fun.
It's cool.
It's a cool. In a way, it's kind of like a little bit of an addiction. Like the custom call side, like it's crazy now. Like, when I first started, there was a lot less guys. I always say that if I started where I did now, not that I'm a somebody, but I feel like it'd be a lot harder. Like these guys coming out now trying to like build a company. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even
Feel like it's
express
oversaturated.
how amazingly blessed I feel. Like some days, like I walk into a Shield store and I'm like, dude, my calls are behind that glass.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's still very surreal because I started in a basement, and then I came up kind of with a hand molding process for guts and kind of perfected that. And now we do parts for a ton of guys in the industry, and I
Yeah.
have 2 employees, and at the end of it, even though I complain probably sometimes, we have this cool ability to go out and make calls for a job.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a blessing. It's so cool. And I think too, yeah, there's a lot of guys doing it now. Like there was guys doing it then too, but there's a lot of people, but it doesn't seem like even though like to us, it seems like the industry is saturated. Dude, people buy calls like they buy anything. They have like 10 different companies. I mean, there's your purists out there too, but for the most part, everybody you can never have enough. And people, I mean, I swear people they'll forgo food for a day to buy a duck call, you know? Like, I mean, you know how it is. You want to hunt or, I mean, gear, like outdoorsmen are gear dudes. Like we are big gear dudes. And so.
Yeah. You can never have enough of anything.
Right.
Yeah.
The unquenchable thirst, basically.
Yeah. What made you redo the keyhole? That's one question I had for you. Because you did it on the Rise first, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
You had that keyhole.
Why did we do that? I think we were just, was that your idea?
I did it.
I thought that was so fucking cool.
It was more Matt's idea, really. Like, you know.
That was so cool.
I think in this industry, like nothing, I could be shooting myself in the foot, but nothing is really reinvented. Like everything's been done.
Right.
You know, from
that was a really old school deal.
Like that, you know, and I think like I had an old Primos winch that had a hole in it. And I think a lot of times like we just do stuff to mess
My
around.
brain is so wacky. I just try to do the opposite.
Yeah.
But I went to college and we have a bucket full of like seconds, just random stuff we use for lasering or whatever. And I took them and I tuned them a certain way. I'm like, I like how that runs. And then I just took a random drill bit and just like drilled through one. I had like 3 or 4 of them. Like one of them had like 3 holes on it. You have to like plug your hands like
it's an
this.
ocarina.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But then I used it for the whole year in South Dakota. And I'm like, man, this one call, like I really like it. And then when I went back the next summer, I got my butt whooped by Stelz for trying to sell it. So.
Oh, he did? I don't remember anything.
The Just
anymore.
the HD.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's not happy about
what's
it.
interesting, that whole, like my Archangel duck call is probably, that call's won the most awards of any call, pretty much. That tone board design, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And that came about because I was trying to get some stuff CNC'd, and I had a guy who didn't do the best job of CNCing parts. And I went to Game Fair one year with like 60 of those things.
Yeah.
And I had to hand file every call to get it right. And I ended up getting a couple, and I was like, dang, this is really good. And that Just the HD was kind of around out of that same.
It was the same type
basically
of thing. That was a mess up. And then
the Rise is like it's got a little bit higher, more slope, a little bit more tone board, a little bit more meat in it. And so it's a little bit more squeaky. You know, it doesn't let as much air through, so it doesn't quite have the same.
It's a
amount
squealer.
Of volume. Yeah, it's a squealer. And so, and the tuning hole actually was super cool. Like I love the tuning hole, you know, and the laser engraver is like one of the most, there's that and the metal lathe. They're like the greatest pieces of equipment in the shop. You can do anything on that laser engraver.
Yeah.
So you just cuts the hole in there, and
that's pretty cool.
Giving away trade secrets here, but not really. I feel
well,
like
for the people that don't know what the keyhole is, would you mind explaining it?
Yeah, basically, so on it, you know, on the duck insert itself, it's normally just basically like a tube in a sense, and the keyhole is basically like if you just took a drill bit and drill a hole through the outside.
And what does it do?
Into the insert. Well, I think really the main thing it does is it allows you to vary the pitch. So you can it gives you 2 exhausts basically, probably, Matt. A smaller exhaust and your main exhaust, but you can cover up your main exhaust, and it's like a secondary exhaust, so the air you can still produce a sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it just gives you like a double whammy, a little bit of versatility.
Yeah.
Or something just to totally confuse people.
I think it was one of the first years I was judging meat duck at Game Fair, and I didn't know you super well back then, but I remember hearing your routine, and I was like, how in the fuck did you get that many ducks out of it? Because like that's one of the things that you're looking for.
I think that's what I was using.
When you're judging that and you're like, oh, I'm using this duck call, and I saw the keyhole, I was like, oh my God. I haven't seen a keyhole duck call in forever. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know like if anybody was doing it in acrylic calls.
I think there's a few kind of around.
Primos did some calls that they were acrylic, and you know the winch has always had that that hole in
That's
it,
what
that
made
hole
me
in
think
it.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm too young for like the keyhole, and
Right.
the winch is what I thought of, but
right.
I think what's his face? Haydel had a keyhole on it wasn't the DR85, it was the thicker, shorter one.
Oh, sure.
That 19
DR10 or something like that.
Maybe? Yeah.
Or DR,
It could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it a lot of things in the industry just kind of resurface, you know.
Yeah.
Like
it's everything, man.
It's very everything in society is kind of like circular.
A-frames, layout blinds, silhouette decoys.
Right.
Yep, full body decoys.
Yeah. You just got to figure out what's coming and get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like there are still a lot more things that we can innovate, though.
Right.
I always think it's kind of crazy when you look back and you realize that, you know, waterfowl hunting has been around for a long time, but like waterfowl products, I mean, really realistically, when were you able to really start buying like the Herders catalog? What was that? Like the 50s or the 40s, maybe, when that first came out?
Probably.
You were probably in high school, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, but realistically, though, like you think about it and you're like, oh, we've got hundreds of years of products. And it's like, well, yeah, there were some products before that catalog came out, but like I don't think people were really buying a ton of like new hunting gear all the time. It's only like the last 70, 80 years that we've really been like innovating waterfowl products.
Herders started in 1937.
Sure.
Okay. So you were like just being born.
I was just born.
Yeah.
It is interesting though. Like I always think that I'm kind of young, but I am older. I've been around doing this for 20 years and it's crazy. Like it has changed a ton. Like you said, like, I was around when Bill started Dakota and we were filming with Keller Outdoors then. And I mean, we were filming DVDs. Like I was filming, we were talking earlier, I was filming on mini DV and stuff at that time. And I remember getting those giant Dakotas. They were like huge the first run. They were extreme. And we got
human
them off
sized
the semi truck. But like when Bill came out with Dakota, it like spurred the industry because, you know, what was there? Like Bigfoot. I mean, you know, Real Geese was there. There was a handful of these decoy companies, but now look, I mean, and really like what has competition done? Like it's
made it
the
better.
gear is amazing that we have now. Like everything from decoys to calls to
camouflage,
to clothing. Like I was thinking yesterday, as like right now I'm wearing a bandits vest, but I have like, you know, I get deals. Everybody is always really generous. Like I pay for everything, but it's easy to get a discount with the outfitter code.
Right.
I've got like Filson and I love my First Light. And,
oh yeah. You're a big Filson guy.
Yeah. I love all that stuff and it's all good, but it's competition. You know, like Sitka came out and now there's Cheen stuff. And so everybody like raises the bar and who benefits the most? The consumer. You know,
oh, for
really
sure.
Good product. Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of the price.
Because back,
that's true.
Even when I was a
Price keeps
kid,
going up.
there was like Columbia,
Right.
Herders,
Filson.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
most people.
A lot of people
buying,
still wore like Filson and Carhartt though.
Realtree,
Mossy
and KW, Killer Weed one, and Avery. Yeah. But there wasn't a whole lot of options. Now there's like 25 different.
Right.
Yeah.
Camouflage
when I first started hunting, like everybody had Drake.
Right.
Everybody had Drake.
That's another big one. Yep.
Yeah. Which even that is like a newer, you know, like if you think about like the history of it.
Right.
But, and then, you know, you think about too, like we've done a ton of innovating and like some of it is, you know, little stuff where it's like, you're not rethinking the entire thing, but like, hey, silhouette decoys used to be on some bullshit single wooden stake with a nut and a bolt and you'd have to twist it to, you know, and it wouldn't go in the ground. And now they're on those little, you know, the little tiny poles and like you can put them into hard ground, you know, it's just like little stuff like that. The Mojo or like the spinning wing decoy that just changed the whole game.
Right.
So like, I feel like there's still a lot of cool products that we just haven't made or come up with yet.
The one that I can't justify that I really want to buy is the DP. The designated puller, like that automatic jerk rig.
Oh, that would be sick.
Dude, like, think about if they would have had that back in Arkansas,
bro,
in the 90s.
It's sick, but like, how much does that thing cost?
It's over $1,000.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, it is?
Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. It's over $1,000.
For a machine that goes... Come on, bro.
Yeah, but if you think about it, you're never going to have to yank it with your arm again.
True,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's in my mind, it's like, oh, it's $1,000. But like in the real world, I get mad if we spend more than $400 a week in groceries.
Right.
You know, and then it's duck hunting. I'm like, oh,
$1,000.
Typical outdoorsman.
It's totally true. Like we justify. It's a business.
Just go down to the river and catch some fish, Roy.
It's only 500.
It's only 500? Oh, shit. My bad.
You can get dos.
You can get dos DP.
Yeah. There you go.
Speaking of things that have really changed the hunting game, one of our sponsors for the podcast is OnX. And I don't know if you remember plat maps. Oh, my God. Can't ever even look at a plat map ever again. Try to figure out where I am to see if I'm there on the plat map. Nightmare. Right. Especially on like back in the day before roads were like really well articulated. Like, oh, you're on 71st Street. But then in 42 miles, it turns into 9th Avenue or whatever. It's like, kill me. So OnX has obviously changed our shit by especially going out to North Dakota to seeing what's electronically posted. Huge game changer. I love OnX.
Right.
I'm obsessed with it. And we have a discount code for you guys and everyone who's listening. It's MWF25 for 25% off.
Nope.
Like the, what, 125?
Nope.
What, 30?
Nope.
MWF20.
There you go.
Sorry, for 20% off.
Nailed it.
Damn. MWF20 if you want 20% off your stuff.
That's a good deal.
You can try it for 25. You could try it for 125. You could try it for 30. I don't think any of them will work, but the 20 will work.
That's like me.
Just go through the ringer.
That's like me guessing discount codes that I have on the website. I'm like, Matt, is that code current? He's like, I don't know. Try USA 25. Try free ship 20. No, it's funny. You know, it's cool that they're a sponsor. I've been using OnX since I think the inception
Genesis
of it. Yeah, and it is a game changer. You talk about game changing unless it's marked improperly, but we're not going to talk about that on this podcast. I was on some private once that was actually marked. It was actually marked
public
on OnX as public. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a rarity big time, I'm sure. But it's crazy. Like, back in the day, and
that's actually so crazy.
So
nice, Carter.
I remember having plat books, for Z Town and for like the Dakota, like when you go out to South Dakota, you'd have to have a book, and it's crazy. The other day
that's actually so crazy.
I do say it a lot, Cal.
Cal says it a lot too.
Yeah.
A lot.
I told him before we started. I haven't said it yet though. Your correction is working on me.
Good.
Joey, not to interrupt you, Joey my whole life has been correcting anything that I say too much, or thank God for him. I don't know what I would do. But
sound dumb.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to say like long. I said lawn.
He couldn't say his
go
G's.
lawn.
He couldn't say his G's.
I couldn't say G's. Like sing was like sing. So Joey, anytime I would say a word with a G at the end of it, he'd be like, "Oh, really? Go lawn? You want me to go lawn?" So eventually,
his lawn,
literally
or my
heckled
lawn.
you enough till you just quit saying.
No, he just like took away his speech impediment through anger. He's like, I'm not gonna have Joey fuck with me anymore.
Yeah, so I just figured out I needed to learn how to say the G's, and now whenever I start in on "that's crazy" or something, it's on the board, and eventually I just stop saying it.
That's good.
You can hang around.
We've known each other since we were like 4 or 5. So he grew up across. Well, I moved there, and then he moved there shortly after. So we were neighbors.
Sorry, but we interrupted you. My bad.
This is what happens in the shop, and I'm like, what were we talking about, man?
Yeah,
you're talking about OnX.
Oh no, it is good. It's cool. It's back in the day, you'd have to like find somebody's number and call and
then mark the side of the road with like a boot or something.
I remember hunting a spot, and this was back when I was using like Flambeau foamers to hunt geese. I mean, this was in the inception. I mean, we've all been that guy who is the greenhorn, and but I remember like leaving a note on his door,
Oh yeah.
And I was like, hey, give me a call. I would love to hunt your property.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But don't call till after 5:30 because I got to drive home. This is like pre-cell phone days.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy was like, I'm not
calling
that guy.
100%. Right.
I just did that this year for Goose Opener. I had a buddy who was like, yeah, dude, come hunt with me. I was like, great. Day before, he's like, oh, I got too many people. I'm like, shit. So now I was like going out and scouting, and one guy wasn't home. So many geese in this little cow pasture. They're all underneath these trees, and then there's this little flooded out creek. It would have been the sickest solo hunt of my life, just band checking geese like underneath a tree.
Right.
It would have been sick. And he wasn't home, but his dog was just going feral. Feral at the door. It was like 7:30 in the morning. So I left my business card and I wrote a note. And I was like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And he called me like 2 hours later. He's like, sorry, man, there's already someone hunting.
That's cool that he called you back.
That was
though,
cool.
You know?
Yeah.
I remember back in the early days trying to hunt Rochester, you know, and I haven't hunted Rochester for quite a few years because it's just gotten different down there. But I remember like they'd just be like, don't even ask,
Right.
you know, so many people hunt in that area, but it's cool that he called you back at least.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, it just felt like old school.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like writing
Right.
notes. It feels more
Right.
personal instead of
Right.
just being like a 14-year-old kid. I even wrote in the note, I'm like, I'm 31 years old.
Right.
I've been hunting
Right.
for over 20 years. Like, blah, blah, blah. Because he had cows in there too.
Right.
You know what's a sneaky way to get perm? Facebook Messenger.
Oh my God.
Really? Have you gotten some luck off of it?
I mean, I got two turkey hunting last weekend off of it. Just randomly enough, like if you can't find the phone number, you stop to their house, can't get a hold of them. I don't know why. I think it's because they can like see your profile and see like you're not a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because
They'll let you go. There's
people over
I don't
50.
think I haven't done a ton, but I would say almost every time I've gotten permission.
That's insane.
Yeah. Just exactly what you wrote in the note. Like, I love this, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And they are so chill. Like, yep, have fun.
Nobody asked permission over Facebook Messenger. He's got a new one.
Well, they're over 50.
Truth.
It's
so
always
they
old people. I think
they
it's
check
different.
their Facebook Messenger.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt
it
and I
is.
do not check
No.
our Facebook
No
Messenger.
shot.
Yeah, if someone asked me for permission on Facebook, I wouldn't read the message for like 10 years.
Oh yeah.
That's rough.
I'm gonna have a sign in my yard.
No wonder.
Mike checks it the first thing in the morning.
I like
Yeah,
sat there.
that's
and
for
had
sure.
them.
There's two Matts, him and another Matt, and I send reels all night to Facebook Messenger, and then I'm like, I just get up in the morning, and I'm like, sadness. Like,
Said nobody even read, unread.
Did he laugh? No.
was it bad? I just go back and rewatch the reel. It's still just
It's
as
still
funny the
good.
second time.
Yeah, but if you're sending them to Matt, you know his kind of humor.
I'm not sending him.
It's not even
brain
funny.
rot. Read it.
Brain
Yeah,
rot.
To him, it's not funny.
I got to
He's
find
a-
some different content.
Big time.
Right.
He's a YouTube
right.
Shorts kind of guy.
Right.
You know, one of those deals.
You got to send it on Snapchat, so they're forced to watch it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Or
Totally.
you just
And then you can
you have
see-
anybody you just never open
Yeah.
on Snapchat. Just
Yeah.
sit there forever.
Bad.
How many you got unread?
Pull it up.
Let's see. The text hasn't been cleaned out by people in a while. We're at
Oh.
247. Did that stress you out?
247.
You have 247
For sure.
unread text messages?
Yeah, but I don't have notifications on Snap, so I can't see how many. But there's definitely.
That's a lot of scrolling.
Wow. That is
Man, I don't have
insane, the
that
amount.
many.
Like, there's
Everyone gets
people from the
stressed
queue
out.
that are never getting touched.
Well, they can. I just like.
You might touch him.
Usually I see it and it's like not something I have to reply to, so I just don't even open it.
Right. You just
I have
don't even open it.
169 text messages that I haven't opened or replied to.
Damn,
That-
bro.
About as bad as I am.
That's crazy. Carter?
That's actually so crazy.
I hate that you say that though.
Yeah.
Carter?
I know you do.
Push
You're
the
good. I'm doing that for you.
Real quick, we were talking about how you've been doing this for 20 years. You've been doing it for a long time. Him and I were talking about this on the phone that I was actually already going to talk to you about is I remember when we started Midwest Flyways almost 10 years ago now, which is
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
that's literally
actually so
that's actually
crazy.
so crazy.
Sorry.
Actually so
Don't be
crazy.
sorry, man. I love it.
That makes me feel really old, by the way, but pro staff. I feel like there was such a hard push into pro staff, and I feel like you had a decent amount of pro staff, and now not so much. Is there been like a huge switch, and why?
That's a good question. I think like pro staff, it was an interesting thing because pro staff was like
Huge.
the thing
Yeah.
for a long time. And then I like debated it, didn't really want to have it, saw some value in it. And I think we had a pretty good group of guys for a while there that were like pushing product. But I think for the most part, pro staff was just a lot of people. And even like, we're all guilty of this. Like, hey, I want to get a discount on a product, you know? And so I was kind of picky for a while, but I had a pretty good crew and I still have a group of guys. I guess technically on the website, we have senior staff and staff.
We did about 7 years ago.
Oh, we did. Don't we? I think on the storefront, there's still, it's a discount code.
Yeah.
So
I
like
see.
a lot of those guys are still on there.
Yeah.
And I think like seasons have changed for a lot of those guys. They have families now. They're not pushing like they used to. We were talking about another guy today who they had a deal and they sold a ton of calls and their code was X20. And I can go in there now and I bet you that they still have the most sales.
Really?
But yeah, I think, and then now we really don't have it. We get guys that ask if they can intern. Like, can we come up and intern? And I'm like, no.
What,
like,
just like work for free and
yeah,
do what?
Yes. Well, we had a guy the other day on TikTok who wanted, I think, to film.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, we don't do that much of this,
So why aren't you focused so much on pro staff anymore?
I don't think about it that much anymore, I guess. And I think too, like part of it is that maybe now I've created a brand that like
You kind of
I
have
don't want to say
what your year looks like.
but like
You know what your year looks like year after year.
Yeah, and I don't like we don't I don't know. We do give out out a lot of discount codes and like I have a lot of outfitters that'll be like, hey, can you back in the day I would be like, hey, let me give you a free call, and use my product. And I got burned a lot on that, man. I got a ton of guys. Hey, I'm going to film and we're going to do an ad, and I'd give them $500 worth of product.
Nothing.
Poof. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, hey, you know what I can do is I'll give you dealer cost. And so then I don't really lose out, I'm getting the same amount I would get like from a retailer, and they're getting a discount on a call, and it works out pretty good, Plus I want guys to use my product because they believe in it too, and
not just for the
because
deal.
they're getting a discount.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think there's really there isn't guys that do that.
Yeah, the pro staff is like done as far as messages go. You don't even get messages hardly anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was heavy.
Do other companies
every-
still have?
When I first started taking over the CNS Instagram and stuff, I mean, it was like hundreds of people asking, "Can I be on pro staff?"
Yeah. And what
Not
would
anymore.
And what would you do to like induct them, I guess?
Honestly, it was people like I just would always say, like, if you buy our products and you're genuinely happy with them, then we can talk about it. But if you don't own any of them and that's all, most 99% of them were just random people
Just
that
want
wanted free
free.com.
calls.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So
Yeah.
I just said, buy some calls, try them, let me know what you like, and we'll see what happens from there. But right now, if you don't use our stuff, I don't want you.
Right.
I think more than anything, I mean, this is just my perspective on it a little bit, but in some ways with social media and, the ability now for people to produce their own content, make their own channel, kind of like go through the whole process of what that looks like versus, I think some of the pro staff days might have been a lot more like TV shows were kind of the thing. There wasn't as much of the ability for people to like create their own channel and podcast and YouTube and all that stuff. So pro staffing back then was kind of a way into the industry, but now it's way more saturated with like people that have an actual followership that is, I think, monetizable, and so the game has sort of changed to where like there's a different kind of value that's now put on some of the influencers, quote unquote, because just like every other company, like CNS is valuable to, other partner brands potentially because of your reach in the waterfowl space.
Right, sure.
It's the same thing with like, some of these people that produce their own stuff now where, there's either a dollar amount tied to that sort of, agreement, or like you were talking about where like maybe guys are like selling calls and like their followership, is kind of worth that sort of agreement. And so some of the pro staffing stuff I think is just kind of dissipated quite a bit because it's not as, it's not as, cool as it once was in a way.
Right. I remember there was a company for a while where you could basically like, if you bought X amount of dollars, you would get on the staff. I remember that company.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the name?
Nice.
Because he can bleep it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll edit this.
Okay. As long as I don't want to talk smack about it.
Yeah,
It was,
you're good.
Nice.
yeah.
Yes.
I
Not
remember
a
I don't
surprise.
remember
Really.
that at all.
Yeah. And that may have been rumor mill stuff too a little bit at the time. Like I never confirmed that. Like,
I actually applied for their pro staff.
Did you really?
Yeah, back in 2015. I wanted
Dude,
I wanted free calls, and they accepted me.
They went crazy that little
They
bit.
did for a couple of years there. They were nuts.
But there were a couple of really good callers that was on pro staff for him.
yeah. And I'm not sure. I met the owner once and I can't remember his name. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they're doing now. I think they're still out there doing calls,
Yeah.
but
I remember that like urge, like I should be on Like I need that validation to be a part of whatever. And then a year later we started Midwest Flyways, and then it was totally different after that. But I remember that kind of like, I need someone to tell me that I'm a good caller.
That's even until like 4 or 5 years ago, pro staffing seemed like it was still like a pretty big thing to do.
Right.
What do you do now in terms of like having guys where you've got like, contest callers that are representing CNS? So that's got to be a little bit of a different, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because
I would say like contest callers are
because you got like Tyler and Rustad. Is there anyone else?
They use what they want, and like really, honestly, I think I don't know. Do we have anybody else that's using calls on stage? Is there?
There's
there are some guys, I guess. Obviously Tyler is the most prominent because he won World Live, and honestly, Tyler's just like a super good dude.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Yeah.
Most of our guys are our guys.
Yeah,
like,
they're guys, and like a lot of those guys, like I just have personal relationships with, and that's what it is, and so, they're just good dudes and they like blowing calls and we're working on some stuff, some stuff's in the works with possibly some new duck calls and stuff here, kind of along different lines. I won't let too many cats out of the bag. Probably
out of what you were saying earlier about like the molded stuff, or what did you call it?
Yeah, I've got some injection molded stuff that we're working on, and
those sound so good if they're done up right.
And so that's
the
kind of the
DR85s.
thing.
Those sound
yeah.
fire.
And then we do have a couple new acrylic duck calls that we're probably going to be releasing.
Nice.
Possibly this fall. Matt's been having fun. I bought some. When you build a duck call, you basically start with a flat jig and a tone channel and a file, and you just rough it. And so I bought a couple flat jigs again this year and got some acrylic blanks, and Matt's been having fun over there, and not so much fun some days. He'll get one really good, and then, but that's how you learn how to do it. And so he got one that we really like that is at the machinist right now getting mapped, and it's a totally different sound than any call that we have. It's not like I wouldn't say it's like a crazy versatile call, but it's just cool sound.
Totally
call.
opposite.
Yeah.
Totally opposite than versatile. Like it just has one duck.
Very nichey.
Kind of, yeah.
Nichey, yeah. I mean, it's got obviously more than, you can get more than one duck out of a call, but it's just kind of got a different sound. Squeaky and choppy and cool.
Nice.
Something I would say just different than what we have in the line, because I tend to be, a smooth call guy. I like a smooth running call. And so this is probably maybe just an age thing. Like 20 years ago, that was it. It's like the smooth sound and a smooth sound. And now there's been a big shift in the industry towards like drag it down the gravel. Just
rah,
rah, rah.
Yeah. So raspy.
Rattle your teeth out. You know?
The slew slut.
Yeah. It's just
that raspy bitch.
Yeah, it's just gravelly,
And are you just dog earing your it's more of a 45 or more of like a 90, 70 degree cut to make it more raspy on duck calls, right?
Well, you can that's a way that a consumer or a guy can make a
just
call
anyone
a little bit more rattly, but
sure.
yeah, like really, like I was thinking about.
Well, I'm not you.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Like I look at it two ways. Like you talk about tone board dynamics as a whole thing, but like really, if you look at a duck call, a J frame from the side, right in front of the cork, the first half of the board is your hold, like your squeak and your bounce, and then the next half of the board is your rattle. So depending on where those things fall, and then of course your tone channel lets your air in, but that's kind of the thing, in there, and it's all a balance game, but I'm not encouraging people to take a file to a duck call. We do have a good handful of clients that'll be like, hey, I need to buy an Archangel insert. And I'm
Never
like,
ends
why?
up good.
Why? And they're like, well, I just wanted to mess with it. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, you bet.
My product wasn't good enough for you.
You bet. Yeah, you bet. I get it. But
some people probably don't care though. I mean, it's kind of fun, like to just you have enough duck calls and just like playing with them and figuring out what's good and bad. Sure. And,
goose calls are one of those things that like we get a ton of retunes in, and I always encourage guys. I'm like, hey, you want me to send you the guts? I'll send them to you. Like, if somebody loses a set of guts or whatever, we ship them out for free. Like we stand behind our stuff 100%. And And I'm like, you should try it. Like, try tuning it, try sanding a reed, because, and some people are like, I don't really want to do that. You know,
Right.
I want you to tune it. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool. I'm
It's
like,
super
hey,
scary if you've never done it.
You do it. I'll send you the guts. I'll send you extra reeds. Like, send it, man. Like, because then you're
Right.
going to learn. You're going to learn
Right.
how to do it. And then when you're in the field and your call gets bumped, you can be back up and running pretty quick.
When you're talking about like tone board dynamics, does it ever just kind of make you laugh a little bit? Like looking back, you know, making arrows 20 years ago to like now you're sitting here talking about tone board dynamics, and
I
like
think,
your brain has to just be like overloaded with tone board dynamics.
It's funny. Yesterday, so Callapalooza is coming up here. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys know about that, but that's held down at R&T. And so the Callapalooza is hosting. There's a contest that started new a couple of years back, and now it's called the, what is it this year? It's a world call making contest.
Yeah.
And it's a tribute contest. So they pick a call maker who's passed, and then everybody has to build a call in the
Reminiscent.
shape of his design.
Cool.
And that way, nobody knows who built the calls when they judge them for sound.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So I was working last week on they have 4 divisions. You can only enter 1 per division. So I was working on those. This year it's Wayne Betts. And it's a totally
Nice.
crazy challenge to try to make a call that's somebody else's shape. Like,
Yeah.
I just had a heck of a time with it. Then they have an open division, which is your own shape. And I was like, ripped it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working on the insert on the metal, on the wood lathe. And then I moved it over just to I was going to the buffing wheel just to polish one. It's always this one little spot. And that buffer, Matt will tell you, it will straight up it'll ruin your day. It will eat calls for lunch. And it was it was a Curly Koa insert, all finished C8. I had probably like 3 hours into that thing, and it just caught, and then it's like, and before you know it, it's gone. And then just pieces come out of that buffing wheel. So
man.
so
Why
I
don't
had
you
to
get a new one?
So I had to, there was enough to chuck up. I was able to hold it and re-sleeve it. But what I'm getting back to is, like, at that point I realized, like, this is how I've learned.
Yeah.
Because I in an hour I had a new insert piece inside. I didn't have to return the whole wood exterior. But because I have screwed up so many times. And that's really what it is with tone boards. And Matt's learning too, because like last week I think he had one and he was over there ripping it and he's like, dude, this one's awesome. And then he's like, crap.
Yeah.
I was like, you went too far with the file, didn't you? You can't get it back.
I blew it for a week. I was in love with it.
Yeah.
And I tried to change one thing and just completely ruined it.
Yeah. It doesn't take much.
That hurts.
That's the thing.
Yeah. When I first started making calls, there was a guy named, Mike Keller was who I ran into, but Keller, the Kellers, and they were from Bemidji area. And I still talk to Matt daily, try to. But they were doing DVDs basically at the time, working with youth kids, and they did Border Patrol was the very first one. And I wasn't really a part of Border Patrol, but then we like hooked up and we shared a booth at Game Fair. And then they filmed just Minnesota-based DVDs.
Yeah.
And I remember my first time at a Shield store, I was sitting with Matt, and they were carrying some of the DVDs. I think we were in Mankato, and we were sitting with Phil and Kay Robertson. And that was kind of crazy. And there was like dudes my age getting their picture taken, but this was pre-Duck Dynasty days, so there was really nobody there.
Right.
But that was kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
And that went around. He's waiting for it. That got really big, and that was really cool. That was fun to be a part of. And a lot of that money, and especially the last one, went to, like, we did some youth hunts and we took some kids, you know, my kids were little then. And so I was able to like sneak away, and they did some Lake of the Woods hunts and
with your kids.
No. Like, we did it with some of the other kids.
Oh.
I was able to leave because my kids were little enough that I didn't have to be around.
Sure.
Were you there in the blue wing teal roast?
Oh yeah, that was great.
That's like one of my favorite pictures.
We were on Lake of the Woods, and we shot a bunch of blue wingers, and we boiled them out, and oh my goodness.
You boiled them out?
You boil them so that the fat doesn't.
Plucked them.
Yeah, pluck them and boil them.
Oh, sure.
And then roast them whole. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
Yeah, delicious. So
Really good.
yeah, not to roll into it too much, but we got a teal call that we finally released this year. So
Really?
yeah, it's just a little teal
Nice.
call.
Do you feel like
So
there's a big market for that?
I think that it's an untapped market that Matt's been riding me to tap for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
Think there's a big untapped teal call market?
Yeah, we got teal and woody calls. They've already honestly been selling like crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And they're like, we do molding in house. And so that's one of the things we do. It's a process I came up with years ago. And so they're a molded call. They're a one piece molded call.
Yeah.
And so they're really affordable. And I think that's really helps them sell. Will help them sell.
Yeah. I used to have a teal call from Haydell, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, wow, I feel like I can do this on my mallard call.
Right.
And I was like, I can.
Right.
Okay, I'm never going to.
Right.
Because I used to be the 6 or 7 call bandit on my lanyard.
Right.
I'm like, oh, here's my wood duck call.
Too,
Here's my teal call. Here's my raspy hen. This hen call has a really good feeding chuckle, but I can't do anything else. Then I got 2 goose calls.
Right. And I think too, like I have that same thought process, but as a businessman who owns a call company, I have to
Oh yeah.
because I think practically, like I'm not a businessman really. I'm a guy who loves building calls and that's what I do, and so it's good. It's a good thing to have because I think like the first month before season and the first 2 weeks of season, we'll probably sling it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember running into guys that were like, I'm a big wood duck hunter, and I ran into a guy at a show, and I was like, oh, this dude's serious. Like,
hey, dude, all them boys from like North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama,
Carlos Avery,
them guys, all they shoot is wood ducks. That's all they have.
Rainbow teal,
Minnesota. Just kidding.
Yeah. Sorry, got off.
Are we having a teal season this year?
yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Don't ask Stelz.
Teal call.
I told him the first year we had one, we should have a teal call. So I figured once we made one, we wouldn't have a teal season.
Right.
So
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. That would make the most sense.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. A lot of the calls on the market are like a Mylar reed, like your mallard call.
Yep.
And this one, actually, a really good friend of mine, Ken Easton is his name, and Easton Custom Calls, and he's just a custom call maker, but it's actually a Predator. It's a metal reed in there, and then we tune it a certain way, and you just hit it, and it's just tat, tat, tat. It's really easy to use. Yeah, so.
It sounds epic. Sounds like a lot of guys are going to blow that on teal opener.
Game fair is going to be loud with teal calls.
Teal calls.
You look at Gavin over there. He's like, oh my God.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for coming. Really appreciate it. And we'll have to have you guys back sometime.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Rustad recurring guest now.
Yep. Second time.
There you go. Second time. But
Brain rot, Rustad.
if you guys are interested in checking out Mike's calls, go search CNS Custom Calls. Anywhere else you want them to go find you, Mike?
No, you can cscustomcalls.com, and of course, we're in Shield stores nationwide, so
Beautiful.
check them out.
All right, thanks,
go,
guys. We
go and
appreciate
check
it.
Go and check out their turkey lives on TikTok. By
Yeah,
the way.
that is
Go
the
check
ticket.
out Bruce
Yeah, you can check out
getting
Bruce.
clobbered, and then they're gonna get another account getting banned.
I think Bruce has to live for a while now.
I think so too.
You got to just let Bruce be
Bruce
on camera.
might need another year.
He's the background on my computer.
Bruce keeps it on fleek, though.
On fleek. Oh my God. On
He
God.
does. On God.
On God. No cap. Did you guys ever see the movie Matilda?
Oh yeah.
I always, every time I hear the word Bruce, I think of
Brucey,
eat the cake, Brucey.
Yeah.
Eat the cake.
Yeah.
Going to the chokey.
I always think of isn't the big shark in Finding Nemo Bruce?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
think of that.
The friends, not food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Rustad, one more thing.